Okay, we're live. Hi, this is William Ramsey. Welcome to William Ramsey Investigates. On today's show, I have a very special guest, returning guest. This will be a part two. We did the part one 2 weeks ago on the film Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad, the original. I think there was a follow on that came out a couple of years later. The original was 2016. And we did about an hour. I had some conflicting family stuff, so we didn't get that far into it. We only got 20 minutes into our first analysis. Chris did a great job. He did a lot of details, a lot of stuff I didn't really, see in my notes. But this will be our 18th or 19th show. We've done shows together with other people, COVID and things like that. But looking in the context of these Epstein files, some of our earlier shows really were on point, in my opinion. Very prescient, very kind of anticipating the future. We did one with about a Marina Abramovich who pops up in these files, Kanye West, kind of his life, Balenciaga. There's a lot of like high art and fashion around Epstein that is deviant. I don't know what you want to call it, like degenerate, maybe, in my opinion. So those things are there. We've done Hidden Dangers of the Rainbow, Constance Cumby. And then our most recent, before we did Suicide Squad, we did a 1 and 2 on transhumanism, occultism, and AI in entertainment. So check those out. But there's just a lot of great stuff that he's done. And also, I put a link to his YouTube channel. If you're familiar with his work, you know he's a superb graphic artist, and you can see a lot of his work, especially on the thumbnail in this episode, but also at his YouTube channel. And he's broken his kind of research, which adds much more than mine, but different kind of segments. And for me, he knows so much about comic books and this thing that I'm not as familiar with. I loved comic books when I was a kid, but I was thinking about the show coming up today, and I was like, this Marvel, X-Men, these kind of things, this is really the global culture. And it's really seeing a lot of eyes. And I've talked to people about, we were talking about esoteric concepts on the intro, and a lot of people get exposed to these ideas through these shows, these Marvel shows or these Hollywood shows. Because I've done one on the Tesseract, and this guy's like, "Oh yeah, the Tesseract is in the Marvel." I had no idea, but like it's in really dark stuff, like Eyes Wide Shut and Rosemary's Baby. But like I said, we did a first episode, so if you are watching this, maybe you should go back and watch that on his channel. Don't Let Them Burn. Check it out. You can watch the first hour, or you can watch it. You can listen to it on my podcast, William Ramsey Investigates, and that'll give you a start. But we only got 20 minutes in. Like, he's done a lot of great work and has a lot of screenshots and thumbnails. But we're going to get started on part 2 right now of Suicide Squad from 2016. So Chris Taylor, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me again, and it's good to be with your audience. And this is going to be the continuation of something great as we unravel the Suicide Squad. But where we stopped before you can find me at don'tletthemburn.com and YouTube, Rumble, Telegram, Don't Let Them Burn Official. You can find me on X, and any questions, just shoot it at me. You can get in touch that way. I'm on Facebook too, but not as much as those places where I just told you about. So as we move with this whole breakdown, we have a lot of symbolism, and we won't go into every single detail, but we're going to pull out some things that maybe you knew, maybe you don't know, and you'll see how Hollywood, through whatever means, puts in front of you the humanist agenda, transhumanist agenda, the occult agenda. And it's not just Hollywood. They're siphoning a lot of this information as well from the comic book writers that put their own ideas in a lot of comic books. You'll see different iterations of Batman and whoever else, and whoever's taking on the property at the time to write for them, maybe they have no agenda. And other people, they do have an agenda because they're Satanists or whatever else. So as we move, last time we stopped, we were in the boardroom of the government, and they said something about anthrax and fluoride in the water, making fluoride look like it's a good thing. And then we went on to where this agent here says, but what happens if the next Superman becomes a terrorist, right? Because what they want to do is form a secret organization that of bad guys that help the quote unquote good guys out, right? And so Amanda Waller has a plan, He's asking if she has a plan, and look back there. We have the Argus emblem with the triangle on the right side up, which is the male deity, and it has a lot of other things going on within there, DNA and stuff like that. And we'll get to Argus in a second. So she says, I want to build a team of some very bad people, right? So she's making it clear. Now, this is Argus. The myth of Argus Panoptes. Argus Panoptes is a notable figure in Greek mythology, known for his extraordinary vigilance and loyalty. His epitaph, Panoptes, meaning all-seeing. So there we have a allusion to a godlike, all-seeing eye, and it's called many different, depending on which culture you're in. And it says underscores his unique characteristics of having multiple eyes, which made him an exemplary guardian. This essay explores the mythological role of Argus Panoptes. I'm not going to read all of this. You can get the screenshot or go to the website to see that. But this is another depiction of him and different artist or whatever. All right. So we have the Greek pottery there.
Sorry to interrupt, but have you ever seen the picture of Queen Elizabeth with her cape with all the eyeballs on it?
Oh, no.
I'm going to find that. So please continue. Sorry, I'm going to find it. It's cool.
So we have the Greek pottery there. We have different modern depictions of him. We also have this depiction in either AI or 3D program. And the eyes around the top of the nimbus there. And the US government has an Argus drone and can spot you from 20,000 feet with camera phone sensors, right? I know this might seem like a big sidetrack, but it all adds up because for some reason our cultures can't get away from these Greek and Roman and other gods, and so the system is Argus after 100-eyed god of Greek myth, and fittingly it works by hooking together hundreds of inexpensive image sensors like those found in mobile phones. The non-classified parts were featured last week in the episode of PBS show Nova, all about drones and surveillance. The Argus segment starts at the half an hour mark, blah, blah, blah. And this, like I said, it could read what you're reading from 20,000 feet. All right, so that's a little side note there. Let's get back to the movie. All right, so she says now, who I think, the bad guys who I think could do some good, like fight the next war, defeat the next Superman. And the guy says here, the general says, not on my watch. You're not putting those monsters back out on the street in our name. And she said, General, we run them covertly, not attributed, basically off the books. Strictly need to know. And if they get caught, we throw them under the bus. All right, so basically they're dispensable. The next war will be fought with these metahumans. Ours or theirs. We're not the only ones kicking up rocks looking for them. We can't control these people. That's what the general says. And she starts to open the box there in the back. And what she has there, you see June, she's looking a little disturbed, right? And her boyfriend saying, June, be strong. And she says, Dr. Moons. So Dr. Moons is related to the Queen of Heaven, protector of Rome, goddess of marriage. Juno in Rome religion, chief goddess of female counterpart of Jupiter, closely resembling the Greek Hera, with whom she was identified with Jupiter and Minerva. She was a member of the Capitoline triad of deities traditionally introduced by I think this is Etruscan kings. Juno was blah, blah, blah. And another, this is from Britannica, Encyclopedia. Juno is the Roman religion chief goddess of female counterpart of Jupiter, closely resembling the Greek Hera. As Juno, Lucina, goddess of childbirth, she had a temple on the Esquiline from the 4th century BC. In her role as female comforter, she assumes various descriptive names, individualized, she became a female guardian angel, as every man had his genius, so every woman had her Juno. Thus, she represented, in sense, the female principle of life. And there's more to her than that. You can go and read that for yourself. And the last one I'll bring up here. Um, let's see here. A daughter of Saturn and Ops. She is the sister wife of Jupiter. Like Hera, her second animal is a peacock. Her intrusion counterpart is Uni, and she was said to also watch over the women of Rome. So she is a feminist icon as well, and on it goes. Juno Juno's own warlike aspect among the Romans is apparent in her attire. Remember the warlike aspect that comes in later. She was often shown armed and wearing a goatskin cloak. The traditional depiction of this warlike aspect was assimilated from the Greek goddess Athena. Now, I've shown other screenshots where I go from culture to culture and show you that a lot of these the demon is switching up the names based on the culture. And so let's move. You got anything to say about that?
It's the same demon, different culture. So like you can see the same concept goes from Middle East to Egypt to Greece to Rome, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so remember now, she's also the Queen of Heaven. The Queen of Heaven is the false Mary of Catholicism. And the Jews used to also worship her, the Queen of Heaven.
Right. That was like one of the Bayless type things or something associated with that, right?
Yeah.
If I remember. This is what comes to mind. When you showed me that Argus Panoptes, that Panoptes has to be the root word for panopticon. I mean, it's too similar. But this is like this is the early part of the 17th century. Elizabeth is like, before Shakespeare and the King James. She's the one before. But like, if you look at this, she has the red dragon on her left arm. Yeah. And then if you kind of key in, you see all these eyeballs and ears. So if you kind of scroll in, you can find this. It's called the Rainbow Portrait of Queen Elizabeth II from 1602. But you'll see the ears and eyes, so it reminds me of that whole Argus Panopticus that you showed. So.
Yeah, serpent worship and all this other stuff, right? Yeah. So let's see now. All right, so as we go on now, we see her. She calls her up and she comes to the table, and she's basically making her summon Enchantress. And in her ear, you see the moon earring. So they're showing you the symbolism all over the place. Most people miss it. And so she has the moon earring there, and she's about to call her. And she says the name Enchantress. And you see her put hand on the table, and slowly the demon starts to manifest. Takes her hand, and now she's become the Enchantress. Right? And this woman, she's actually doing the Catholic, what's that thing where they do the
sign of the cross?
Yeah. So she's terrified, and these generals are all like, "Oh my goodness, what are we in for here?" And so Amanda says, "Meet the Enchantress." Right? Everything we know about her is in your briefing packs. I mean, in reality, people would be freaking out more than that because a demon just manifested in front of you, right? And so she walked the earth for a very long time and will likely be here when we're long gone, right? Basically trying to say this is deity, right? Which, of course, is a false god. It's a demon. This meeting is now a magic show, asked the general. Magic or not, this girl can do some pretty incredible things. See, she just throws away like it's nothing, like this spiritual thing, nothing. Go get it, girl. And so she puffs away. Oh, she doesn't want to do it. She's reluctant. And then it shows what is her heart, right? And this is how they have her captive, because whoever controls the heart controls the Enchantress. And so the rumblings start, and so then she disappears. And in the back there, if you see it, way in the back right here, she is now manifested back into the room, and she brings a folder with her, and she says, there she is. And Amanda now says, how about a little something for the weapons ministry vault in Tehran? Sorry, I skipped that. Okay, there she threw the book on the table there. So that's from Tehran. So basically now the demon is going to do spine for them. And he opens it and to confirm what it is. And this guy says, we've been chasing these plans for years. And Amanda gives her a little smirk. And he says, please don't touch me. Please don't touch me. Right. And thank you. We'd like Dr. Moon back. And then she starts to change again. And she's looking at her like, don't try it. And then she pokes her heart.
Did you find it interesting that the weapon stuff they're getting is specifically from Tehran? Like it wasn't something, so Tehran is subtly injected into the zeitgeist as like the bad guy, right? All the way from 2016.
Yes.
It's
And
the new what is it? Osama bin Laden or whatever. Yeah.
It's a new boogeyman. And so she pokes the heart. The heart starts to, glow, and then she feels some sort of supernatural pain or whatever. You see the light there in her chest, and he's looking strange. And then she says enchantress, and she starts to come back to the human form. Right? So he says, June, please. I'm sorry, I can't do it again. That's what she's saying. So the whole movie, this woman is asking for help. No one is help her. Right? And she says, Flag, get her out of here. That's Flag's the boyfriend, for those that don't know. And so he gets her out, and then he says, I move to authorize Amanda Waller to establish Task Force X. Just like that, because we got a spy who is supernatural, a demon, to work for us, right? Under the Argus program. And so Amanda now gives her smirk again. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And stop right there. Anything you want to say? That scene is done.
Task Force X, right? So there it is, the X-Men X type stuff. So it's the common theme. Have you ever seen the stuff like where Peter Levenda was at like in New York with the guy who started or wrote the X-Men, and they were all part of kind of the whole magical clique of New York City?
Oh, one of
in the 60s or 70s or something.
Chris Claremont or something?
Yeah, something like that. Like there was some kind of relationship between them. But Levenda, he writes a lot of stuff on the occult. Friend of the show, not a friend actually. He hates my guts. It's an interesting article because it just shows like the gestation of the X-Men type concepts came out of a kind of magical occult community.
Oh yeah, the whole humanistic aspect of evolution and Marxism and on, occultism and blah blah blah, made Freemasonry, blah blah blah, right? And so the next scene now, we're headed back to, I think this is wherever they have them captive, the Suicide Squad. And so this plane flies over, they jump out the plane. This guy here, welcome to Belle Reeve, Special Security Barracks. And she says, where are they? And so later on, I skipped a few scenes here, and she's watching Amanda walk across the canopy up top. And she says, are you the devil? And she says, maybe. And then he looks at her. And sorry, they skip. So she says maybe. So I don't know. There are different iterations of the devil in this program. She's kind of one of them, but not really. But she's taking on that role. And so in the next scene, they're visiting the crocodile dude, and he says, "Ain't you scared?" And he says, "Why'd they put you down here?" I asked. And then they went to this is Diablo now, and so he's like, put the burrito down. You got visitors, man. And so they show him a screen in where he killed a ton of people in the yard. This was shown earlier, and then this is the king crown on him, with his hand inflamed. and he said, "What's up? Hey, you want some of this?" And for those that don't know, this is similar to, now remember, his name is El Diablo in the streets. He's had this power since he was a young man, and later you're going to see it, what the true power is manifested later. But this also reminds me of this person. This is Hellboy, for those that don't know, and Hellboy is the Antichrist from Nazism. He was born from a woman that had sex with a demon, and but in the movie they show him coming out of hell in a portal. So it's the same imagery. And so as we move, anything you want to say about that? All right.
No,
So
it is interesting though. It is, you're seeing a lot of this kind of overlap stuff
yeah,
in the culture.
yeah. So he's saying that ain't me, right? Basically what he's trying to say is, he's holding back, he's not doing that stuff no more. And she said, "That wasn't you." And I said, "Nah, they say it's me, but that ain't me. That guy's gone, right?" And technically he's telling the truth because he's possessed, okay? He's dead. And yet, here you are. And he says, "Ma'am," and then Rick comes in and said, "You want to die here, buddy? You got a real shot at walking the block again. Have a nice cold beer and a nice smile. A meal, sorry. A woman. Look, man, you ain't the first to ask, and you ain't gonna be the last. I'm a man, okay? I ain't no weapon. Um, Let me die in peace before I raise my fist again. I caused enough harm." And then he uses his power anyway to form this buy sign, right? So clearly it's not over. It's still there within him. So now we skip to, I cut a lot out of this. Basically, what they're doing here is using Will Smith's character to show what he could do with the guns and whatever, right? And so he's kind of reluctant to do things, and he says, "You know what this man could do?" Because Amanda Waller's there, remember? And he says, "I'm here to find out. Lose the restraints." What is this? Cheerleading tryouts? This is what Deadshot says. Let's go. Let's see what you could do. And say, they say you never missed a shot. Prove it. See, the firing pin is filed down, right? So he doesn't really know what he has in his hand. Okay. It says mag full of dummy rounds. If I pull the trigger, nothing happens. And then he points it at him, and he says, Amanda is jeering him on, saying, "You're Remember, she's a devil figure, right?" He says, "You're absolutely right." That's what she's saying to him. And Deadshot said, "Why would you give a loaded weapon to an infamous hitman?" And she says, "Go ahead, pull the trigger, empty it." And the guy saying, "Don't empty nothing. You don't even know this lady." He says, "I've known you for like 9 months." The guy that he's pointing the weapon to says that. And I remember when I bought you the cookie, that was a real cookie. And he shoots the weapon in the air, 4 shots ring out. So basically, Amanda knew the weapon was loaded. So again, she's a devil figure. And Will Smith is supposed to be a Jesus figure, but he's really an Antichrist figure. We'll see that later. So now Deadshot says, "What? Oops!" And so he gets turned on by the gun smoke, the smell of the of what's coming out of the chamber, and so y'all jokers must be crazy. Literally, he can kill all of them, but he's not that fast. So now he's showing off the weapons, and he's shooting holes into everything, never missing anything, and he's impressed, and he's just shooting through the hole in the head, and she's looking like, yeah, she's getting turned on as well. And so he picks up the automatic weapon and starts firing, and it goes through the head of all of the dummies there. And he says, "All right, now you know what you're buying." He said, "Let me tell you the price. First, I want out of here. Second, I want full custody of my daughter. All right, and her mom can have like supervised visits, but her stank boyfriend can't come. Darnell can't come. Third, y'all gonna pay for my daughter's whole education, best schools, and then I want her to go to college, like Harvard or Yale. So Ivy League. The other guy says, and says, yeah, Ivy League. And if she can't cut it, her grades start slipping. I need you to white people that thing. And he said, mm-hmm. And you know how y'all do. Oh yeah. Now what's my price? But I'm concerned because I don't see nobody writing it down. You're in no, and he says no, you're in no position to make demands. And he says, oh, I'm sorry, I thought I was talking to you. No, Aaron boy, I'm talking to your boss. That's my price, sweetie. You know what it is, right? So now they skip to the next scene. So he's talking to Amanda in private. He says they're psychotic, antisocial freaks. It makes no sense. Let me hit the tier 1 units and I'll build you up. Basically, he could make his own team. A team of pipe hitters who will do anything you can dream up. I mean, you need real soldiers, not these scumbags. And she says, in World War II, the U.S. Navy made a deal with the mafia to protect its ships on the waterfront. This ain't World War II, he says. He said it's World War III. What are you really up to? It's a need to know, and all you need to know is you work for me. That can change with a phone call. I have friends too, you know. That's what he's saying to her. And she said, go ahead and call. But without you minding her, meaning Enchantress or Moon, Dr. Moon, your lady friend stays here strapped to a board in a drug-induced coma. And that reminds us of Captain America Winter Soldier, where the Winter Soldier was under Russian. He was caged by the Russians and used in a mind control program. And he was in a coma as well. They kept him frozen. And then they would release him anytime they wanted him to go on a mission. Just a fun fact there for you guys that know what I'm talking about, or if you don't know. So they warned me about you, he's saying. My dumb behind didn't believe the stories. And she says nobody does. Because in the comics, she's a really wicked woman, even though she works for the clandestine government, right? And anything you want to say about that before we move on?
No, please continue.
All right. So now we jump to the Joker. He's in a room full of computers, and they reveal what's underneath him in a minute. And so he pulls up his gun. This guy walks through. He says, "Where is she?" Meaning Harley Quinn. It's complex. This is not just her. Everybody's disappearing. There's this new law where if you are bad guy, they stamp terrorist on your jacket. Then they send you to the swamp in Louisiana, a black site. That's where she is. And he says, "So what are you doing?" The other guy says that, and he says, "Now we're gonna go in for a drive." And then it's on the top here, and he starts to pull out. You see all the knives and the candles, the bottles, and everything, and you see baby clothes there. Sorry.
Yeah, what's that for? Why are there infant clothes? Like
Well,
baby clothes?
there are a few theories, and one of them I misplaced. So this could be because Harley Quinn has a dream of having a baby with the Joker. That's a part of it. And I don't know what all of these things, the knives and everything, symbolize, but I think he's giving birth to something. You know, that's what it looks like to me. But maybe it's not that serious. But there's all sorts of things in here, and you know, I just didn't have the time to break everything down. So, but they do have future plans to have kids, and she wants a normal life with the Joker.
Gotcha.
Right? Gotcha. All right. Now, this guy's the guy from the prison, and he was gambling, and the Joker knew where he was, and so guy's like, good job, man. He's killing it. Come on, man. Why am I here? I've had a run of bad decks, not my fault. Basically, he thinks that they think he's stealing. Okay. or he owes money or whatever. And says, dude, this is real. I had to stop these guys from burning down your house with your kids in it, but you're lucky. Maybe. Why don't you? Why do you think so? You slick. What's up? And so anyway, they paid the guy. Not this guy, but the guy was talking to him. And you might want to keep your mouth shut. Can I go? What is going on, man? Blah 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 blah. So the Joker comes in, and he does his usual, you know, fun making of people, and he has to kiss his hand, and I could tell you meant that, right? When he kissed his hand. And so we go from there to where we're gonna go into a little bit about Jared Leto, and you know some of this, William Ramsey. Jared Leto, he is a method actor, and for those that don't know, a lot of method actors are actually possessed. I'm not saying all, I don't know if all, but a lot of them are, and they do their little chants and meditations and whatnot to get a spirit in them to act. But he goes full on and stays in character every day. And so they said that he was given a dead rat to people on stage, and one of them was Margot Robbie. So that's one of the controversies dealing with this movie. And then we talked about this last time, but I wanted to show people the occult triangles on his elbows or forearm there. Anything you want to relate to that again?
Yeah, no, this guy's heavy duty. Johnny Depp is supposedly also a quote method actor, but people have said to me that he gets possessed. Like he literally
Yeah,
tries to be spirit possessed during his performances.
yeah, yeah. And you know, Jared has always been a weirdo, but you know, he's not hiding it. Um, you can say a lot about Jared Leto, but so as far as the Joker now, again, remember he's playing the Joker. Some people say this is the worst interpretation of the Joker they've seen. But I want to go into uh, a book on occult symbolism to kind of get you to understand where the Joker actually comes from and what it means. Now he's a clown. He's the white on his face is death. Okay, and this the cards, the playing deck of cards that you use to gamble or whatever, it came from the tarot card system. So this explanation, you take it or leave it, will give you a glimpse of who the Joker really is. Okay. So it says here, I think it would be informative to give the history and the real meaning of ordinary playing cards. The following is taken from the Gospel Standard. The first deck of card was made for Charles of France in the year 1392. King Charles was an insane man. It is not generally known by card players that cards have a secret meaning, but after the following statements were made public, the members of the gambling fraternity of professional gamblers declare that they are absolutely true. The king card represents the enemy of God, the devil. The 10 spots represent the spirit of lawlessness and is in direct opposition to the 10 commandments of the Bible, closely associated with the 10 spots in the club card. When cards were invented, the club was the weapon of the murderer. In those days, there were no revolvers or machine guns. The club cards stand for murder. The jack represents the lustful libertine whose lives on the gains of the prostitutes who lives on the gains of the prostitutes. It represents the moral leper. There is a game of cards called the brothel game. In a second here, in which players use the secret obscene language of the cards to converse with each other merely by dropping a card. Now we come to the part that is even more shockingly wicked. The Queen card represents the Virgin Mary, the mother of our Lord. In the secrets of the card, she is called the mother of harlots. For those that don't know, you can find that in the book of Revelation related to Babylon. The Joker is in card language represents our Lord Jesus Christ. Joker means fool. Jesus Christ is held up by the card players as a fool. And If this is not bad enough yet, the secret language of a deck of cards goes further and declares that Jesus, the Joker card, is the offspring of a lustful Jack and the Queen Mother, Mary. And then it says, and there you have the true meaning of a deck of so-called innocent playing cards. A little extra note, I thought it was interesting to find out that the president of the U.S. Playing Card Company from 1929 to 1930 and the president of Standard Playing Card Company in 1898 was Benjamin C. Hawks, a Mason. So again, this book is a Masonic and occult symbols illustrated. You could read more for yourself if you want to. There's a free online version. I just thought it was interesting to show you who the Joker really is. It's not just death. It's not just the cult of Dionysus. He's a Gnostic representation of Jesus. There. So, anything you want to say before I keep moving?
Let's keep going. No.
All right. So now we go into the room where Enchantress or Dr. Moon is sleeping, and she's for whatever reason saying Enchantress, right? And he's looking outside at water. Water is a symbolism for other realms, and he's not trying to go to another realm. I'm just telling you the symbolism. It's a symbolism for other realms and scrying and things, right? So this is important because we're about to see something spiritual happen here. And so Enchantress manifests without the young lady, Dr. Moon, approving of it. So it's showing you this woman could come and go as she pleases, or this demon. And so he pulls out the gun and starts to look at her. And then she disappears. She disappears? No, she actually starts to show him his past. And this is when he first was in love with her, fell in love with her. And then she's here. This is when they found her. And so she's basically dying because of this whole thing that's going on with her. And they're saying, let's get her down to the morgue. And he says, June. And so now it snaps back to where in reality. And then he asks her, what did you do? And then she says, shh. And he says, okay. And then she's about to go somewhere else and poof. And now she's gone, right? And so she ends up somewhere else. And this is where, I think this is where Amanda is sleeping, right? And then as on the phone, you see there's a missed call from Rick Flag because I think he was trying to alert her or something. And I think this has to do, the phone, the provider here has something to do with LexCorp. That's just a little Easter egg there. And she's obviously not awake. What Enchantress is trying to do is get her heart back, but it's locked. And then she goes into the next room and puts and see to the computer, and what she finds is the idol, which is her brother. Her brother is Incubus, and for those that don't know, that's a male sex god. She would be the female. Remember, a lot of these goddesses are fertility goddesses, right? And so she hears the voice say sister because it's right up there on the mantle, right? And so she says brother, and then it lights up, and that scene stops right there. Okay? So now we get to Midway City Downtown Business District. Now, this is where the movie starts to fall apart a little bit, but we'll keep going. So now we find this guy, which I don't know his name. I think it's not important. And he's just busy on the phone, washing his hand in the bathroom or whatever. And she appears in the mirror. Now remember, water, mirror, crystal ball, whatever shiny surface is an open, according to the occult and some real paranormal stuff, it's an opening the spiritual realm. So she's in the mirror. She's not behind him. Okay. And so she grabs his face, slams him into the mirror, and then appears behind him, twists him around, looks in his face, and starts to get him possessed by the brother. Right? And so now they begin to dialogue. He says, "Brother, I have freed you. Where are you?" And he says, "Where are we?" She says, "The same world, only much better." He says, "What happened?" "The humans turned against us, but they were," and he says, "But they worshipped us. But they worshipped us. We were gods to them. Now they worship machines." And this is important to understand this dialogue here because we spend a lot of time in front of our phones, computers. We work. We love our cars. We work. So this is not a lie, you know. But it's showing that the old gods want to come back, and this is true within reality. Now, so I will build a machine that will destroy them all. So she's telling them now to build your strength, feed on them, and wait for me to return. And then she says, "Enchantress" again, and now she's back into the room as June. And so he hugs her, and she says she went somewhere. "If you have to choose between her and me, stop her. Promise me you'll stop her." And this is common among possession victims. They won't remember what happened at the time that the demon manifested in them, and they go somewhere or whatever. Um, Even if it kills me. And so now we're back in the train station with this guy, and he's walking. Now, I'm not sure if the poster in the back there means a lot, but it's something. It's saying something about magic and uh, everything is not magic or everything is magic, something like that. So I don't know. I couldn't get a clear picture of it.
Interesting.
And so now the demon is manifested in this guy, and then he falls out, and people try to come help him. Sir, you okay? This is 21. Send medical to my location. And then the guy runs over. "I'm a physician. No pulse. Starting compressions." And then this squid looking thing comes up and grabs him by the neck, pulls him down, pokes through his back, and pokes through the other guy. And then he touches the third rail over here, and that gives him power to start becoming his true self. Remember, this is incubus. It's an incubus, her brother. And so now it's just spectacle. The train comes towards him, and he puts his tentacles through the train and blah blah blah. Right now, so now we're back to Midway City, and it's under attack. That's where he is at Midway City, the incubus. And he says it's a non-human entity. "I think you know what to do, sir. Activate Task Force X." Now, how does this guy know that Task Force X could actually go up against a spiritual being? The writers, I know, right? And get Amanda Waller and her whole circus on scene at ASAP. We're going live. Task Force X, pull them. And so now we're back at the facility where Harlequin is pulling something out of her mouth because she has a plan. Looks like a razor or some sort. And so, "Prisoner, get down on your knees now," because they're trying to come get her out. "This is me being cool. Take her." This is me being cool. And he says, "Take her." And she grabs one of them, and they say, "Don't fire that bleepity bleep weapon," right? And it's a what do you call those guns with the electrodes? Taser.
Taser, right?
Yeah. And boom, she gets put down. So now they go into get this dude here. So open the door, and he's like ready to fight them. And then they switch back into where Diablo is. They let him out. It's because they flooded the tank with water, so he couldn't do anything when he gets up, which doesn't make sense. But anyway, and then they give him a shot in the neck. Hurry up before he smokes us. Then they go down to where the crocodile is. Killer Croc. Wait a minute. That's where Killer Croc is, right? Yeah, and I think there's if you notice down here, right around here, if you can see that, there's a human skeleton in there. So this he's not just eating animals, he's eating humans too. So straight cannibal, right?
He's a cannibal, yeah.
I remember he's based on evolution. Yeah. So then they show her okay, so this is the part where they're gonna start injecting RFID chips into their necks or whatever. And RFID chips, it's a real thing, many different uses. I'm not gonna go into all that. So what is this? What is this? What are you? And they show there. This is from Van Chris Laboratories, a Batman Corporation. Okay, Wayne Corp. Okay, so then you see them ready to give them the shots. Stand by, arming device. And she's like, "Who are you?" And I don't know who you are. Say device is armed, and they put it in her neck. Injection successful, and they pretty much. This is a tracking device. Not only that, but it's also something that would explode once Amanda or whoever has the controls to them will, if they get out of line, they'll get taken out. Anybody who touches me is dead. That's what she said. Oh, that's what he says. But everybody's just acting out. Really, I'm gonna try to go through this fast. Basically, all of them get injections. Every single one of them, right? And so basically, they're telling them to be they're going to be transferred. And this guy, the little weasel, is giving Harlequin something that's for Mr. J, obviously the Joker, and it's a phone. This scene doesn't make any sense, but whatever. He's basically saying, if you're going to tell him that I took care of you, and she says, you're so screwed, right? Because the Joker betrays everybody. So, and he's asking, what do you mean by that? And he's like, get off me, and they won't let him get through. So anyway, get on the jet, and there we are. Anything. I'm moving here. We're halfway through the slides. Anything you want to say before? I know
you're at the 50-minute mark, so halfway's good. Halfway's good. Our timing and pacing seems optimal, so we're doing good. If you guys have any questions, you can leave them in the chat too, guys, and we'll get to them at the end once we get to the end.
All right. So now we get to Van Chris Laboratories, a division of when this is where they got the RFID from. And so we see a van pulling up there. The panda fan. The panda is also symbolism and mind control and pedophilia and all this stuff. I don't know if this correlates. I'm just saying, right?
It's a sign of abuse, like their abuse. It's like the most disgusting thing imaginable. It's real, and it's like an insider thing. It goes back to the Podesta files, or what we call Pizzagate stuff. That's terrible.
Yeah. And so they drive up, and hey, I got delivery. I have a gift basket for Dr. Van Chris. Thank you. You're a good man. And boom, it blows up in his face. And so they caught all that on camera in the guardhouse. And then they get out, and they enter the lab with this same crazy looking people in masks. I think the one back there might be related to Slender Man. This one right here. I got a feeling that's related to Slender Man. But anyway, they start shooting people. And he says to open up. And he won't open up. And then they shoot the glass. He's scared. And he shows the wife. Right? And so they get in. and they get to get all of these injections, RFID chips, and he's like, this looks neat," and then he shoots the guy in the neck with it, and then we never see him again. I don't know what sense that made, but there we go, right? And so now this is back down in the subway station again, and we see Mr. Incubus taking just taking out police left and right, right? And below, it's where Flag is with Dr. Moon. He says he's right above us, and she said, "This is a mistake, Rick. I can't do this." Again, throughout the whole movie, she's like, "No, I don't want to be possessed by this lady. I don't want to do it," you know. And he says, "There's no other way, right? Just get it done." And so she does the enchantress thing, and then we go back to the operation room, and she's like, "Flag, talk to me. What's going on down there?" And he says, "Amanda, she bolted." And so she starts sticking the sticking the heart, right? And she's like, "Brother, help me!" And before she kills me, and then he does something here where she now transforms from this to this, her more, I would say, obviously not angelic, but fallen angel type of form. Those circles on top of her crest there at the top, those are all eyes. Now, don't, yeah, a whole bunch of symbolism, right? So now, he asks, "Where's your heart?" She says, "I will take it back." That's what she says, right? And I'm not sure what those markings on the top mean. Could be something, could be nothing. I'm not sure. But again, since it's this is not a moving picture, you can't see the eyes actually moving. Until then, you will share your power. So now help me build my weapon. It's time to wipe them out. What's strange is Amanda still has the heart. She still has to get the heart from Amanda, but because she's transformed into another thing, sort of, kind of, the stab in the heart doesn't work, but it still works. This makes no sense to me, right? So, she starts to walk off and then starts to build her weapon, and we see all of these techno markings come up on her body because in the occult, science and magic is one and the same. This is alchemy. You mix technology with magic and all these weird things, right? So, and it's squid looking thing, sort of like out of Superman, Man of Steel. That's what it
All
looks
those
like.
symbols around her diadem or headdress or whatever are real magical
Oh
symbols.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, you can see them in Solomon's, like Goetia and stuff like that. Symbols of demons and things like that. Are all there, yeah, like that's the one I see directly to the left of the like half moon is definitely a symbol of Saturn. It's like up.
There you go.
Yeah, it's all there.
Yeah, and there's so many symbols of Saturn, especially in the book I was referencing from a minute ago. It's a really good book. Everybody should read that, man. But anyway, um, so this machine is building, and we have this annoying sky thing that they put in every movie. So annoying, right? And this is where I think during production things started to change. They took power from David Ayer and brought in somebody else, and it started to go off the rails. So anyway, we see it come out of that city monument there where the subway is, and it says, "Worldwide military is on alert. Our weapons are ineffective." Right? I thought this was contained, and then now they switch from that, going back to where the Suicide Squad actually is. And let me see something here. This is where Midway City Airport. Okay, so they're evacuating people, and FEMA's there, and it says, and so they're landing now, and it says, "What's going on in that city?" What? And somebody says, "What the hell, Flag?" And for fun fact, that's Clint Eastwood's son right there. He doesn't really have any dialogue in this movie, but that's him. there to the left. So he says unlock them. And here comes Harley Quinn. Hi, boys. And they're looking at her like she's sexy and blah blah blah. Um, she said, I think she's saying I should kill everyone and escape. Sorry, it's the voices. And of course, they're being a little tongue in cheek, but that's what crazy people hear a lot. Demon possessed people hear a lot. The voices, right? I'm kidding. Geez, that's not what they really said. Welcome to the party, Captain Boomerang. So now they bring Captain Boomerang in. He's useless. I think they needed some sort of comedy thing here. Hey, 1 minute I'm playing. What's that? Mahjong with Minana. Then this red streak hits me out of nowhere. Where he's talking about the Flash, the character, the Flash. For those that don't know, so he says, "Shut up! You're caught robbing a diamond exchange." I was not basically lying. And then here comes Slipknot, the man who can climb anything. Wonderful, which another unimportant character, but he gets out, and the female there in front of him says, "Have a good time, scumbag," and he punches punches her out, which is I think they thought this was funny, but there's a whole lot we could say about females and Secret Service and all the other stuff that they shouldn't be, and how the men are more stronger than them or whatnot. But anyway, I'll refrain. So anyway, they say straighten up. And so basically, it says in your next injection, you got it's a nanite explosive. It's the size of a grain of rice, but as powerful as a hand grenade. You disobey me, you die. You escape, you die. You otherwise irritate or vex me, then guess what? You die. You're going somewhere very bad to do something that'll get you killed. But until that happens, you're my problem. And so he says, you might, this is Deadshot saying, you might want to work on your team motivation thing. You heard of Phil Jackson? He says, yeah. He's like the gold standard, okay? Triangle. Basically, there's two sides to this issue right here. Phil, what's his name again? Phil Jackson.
Phil Jackson, yeah.
He developed the triangle method for the NBA. I don't know what his background is. I don't know. However, this thing right here is a symbol straight out of the occult. And it means so much. But again, male deity, Satan, and other things. It's in the Freemasonry and a bunch of other places. So to make out of it what you will, but I think this is a whole a two-sided issue going on right here. All right. So next we see Harley Quinn opening her box of her property. You get the classic black and white suit, and I'm sorry, I don't know what that symbolizes, except for the colors are usually in witchcraft, but whatever. Maybe it doesn't mean that. Maybe it does. And then she, puts it. And the funny thing is they show this suit, but she never wears it in the movie. So anyway, so we see Deadshot. This is basically the montage. We're about to go out and do things, and she picks up her gun, which is a symbolism of duality. We have hate and love. And she's like a fusion of opposites, the yin and the yang, da 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 da, right? And she points hate in front of the camera, because that's what she's about right now. And so pudding is a reference to the Joker. That's her nickname for it. And so anyway, she's thinking about it, and then they switch to Diablo. On his chest there. Now, remember, symbolically, he's a Satan figure. On his chest there to the right, that's the Aztec god. I don't know what name is, but that's an Aztec god, and he's into ancestor worship. He got his wife there on his left arm, and I don't know what that is on his left chest. But just giving you a clue of why, this is also related to the patron saint of death, going back to MH13 and others and da 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 da. So he's putting on his shirt, and then we jump to, I think this is Boomerang. The Oh my gosh, the unicorn symbol. This is has something to do with like a surprise. It's a unicorn. It's unseen. It's hardly ever seen anywhere else. So that's his little pet, right? And it's special to him, and he tucks it in. So anyway, go to Deadshot now. And he's got a little mask, and then they skip from that back to Harlequin. Now notice she didn't put on the black and white suit. She puts on Daddy's whatever that is, and now all the guys are looking at her. Oh, she got high heels on. I don't know how you go on into a battle with high heels. Doesn't make any sense to me, but for all the juvenile minds out there, I guess it works. And she's like, "What?" Like she has no clue what she's doing, how she's seducing the men, right? And Croc and everybody's looking at her, and then she says, "Oh, it won't fit anymore," right? And then anyway, they jump from that to okay. So she was asking Deadshot if his mask won't fit anymore. And he says, "No, every time I put this on, somebody dies." Now, notice his collar there. It says the life, I think it says the truth, the life, the way, and that's backwards because Jesus said, "I'm the way, the truth, the life." So on the collar it's written backwards. So I'm telling you, this is an Antichrist figure. Because in Satanism, they have a law called the law of reversal. Everything is done in reverse. And if you know the character of Satan, he does everything in reverse, everything opposite of what God does. So this is just symbolism. Now, he's not the quote unquote bad guy of the movie, but that's what this means, okay? His collar there. And he says, no, every time I put it on, somebody dies. And she says, and he says, I like putting it on. So it's showing you that he loves death. And God says, anyone that hates me loves death. I'm not reading into this. This is biblical truth, right? And then this article kind of backs me up a little bit. It says Deadshot's collar has the text, I am the light, the way. Okay, so I am the light, the way. Okay. On it, a reference to Bible verse John 14:6, which says, Jesus answered, I am the way, the truth, and the light. No one comes to the Father except through me. Right? So even secular people see as I just said. And so she says, goody. I think that meant on him loving to kill people. Something tells me a whole lot of people are about to die. He said, yeah, it's us. So Diablo now says, we're being led to our debts. Speak for yourself, mate. That says, Boomerang, hey, what's that crap on your face? Does it wash off? And they get into the little thing, and then we see Croc here looking how he looks. He says he could torch this whole joint. Ain't that right, Essay? Ain't got nothing to worry about from me. I'm cool, homie. So all this whole movie until a certain point, he's playing the reluctant devil. And so it says here, behold the voice of God. And here comes Argus, right? And Amanda comes up. So she's now the voice of God. I mean, it could be a little tongue-in-cheek, but whatever. So for those of you who don't know me officially, my name is Amanda Waller. There's an active terrorist event in Midway City. I want you to enter the city, rescue HVT1, and get them to safety. For those of us who don't know, don't speak good guy, what's HVT1? And they explain the only person that matters in the city, the one person you cannot kill. Complete the mission, you get time off your prison sentence. Fail the mission, you die. Anything happens to Colonel Flag, I'll kill every single one of you. Remember, I'm watching. I see everything. And he says, this is Deadpool. Deadshot talking. So that's it. well, we some kind of Suicide Squad. This is the moment in the movie where they have to say the title. Um, I'll notify your next of kin. And so now they're getting on the plane, ready to go. So they introduce this character here. So he says, "You're late." I forgot what her name is. I think they're gonna say it. So this is not on the plane. This is where she just came from, and she's basically hitting up a mob in, I think, Japan or something. Please have mercy. Where was the mercy for my husband? I didn't kill him, but you watched. Criminals deserve no mercy, she says. And so she says, "This is Katana. She's got my back. She can cut all of you in half with one sword stroke, just like mowing lawn. I would advise not getting killed by her. Her sword traps the souls of its victims." Now we're gonna go into a little folklore here. I hope I don't mess up the not translation, but the pronunciation of some of this. So in Japanese folklore, contains swords are believed to trap souls, particularly those crafted by specific swordsmiths like Muramasa, whose blades were said to be bloodthirsty and associated with evil spirits. That's the whole point. The supernatural is all over this movie and in the comic books, of course. These swords not only hold the souls of samurai, but also the spirit of their maker, reflecting deep cultural beliefs about spiritual significance of swords. Now, this all goes back to ancestor worship and a bunch of occult stuff we could talk about. And so, the tales of Isle titled Issei Monogatari show. There is a theory originally from the Omiyaki that foxes and tunikai, among other beings that have lived for at least 100 years and changed forms, are considered suku magami, right? And gami means God. That last part there, gami, like origami, paper god, right? In modern times, the term can also be written da 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 to emphasize the agedness, according to Kamatsu, the idea of a whatever the word is, a tool spread mostly in Japanese Middle Ages and declined in most recent generations, right? So there's what her sword is linked to, okay? So she says, "Should I kill them?" She says, "Whoa." He says, "Whoa, easy, cowgirl. Ain't that kind of mission. Have a seat." And so now, most of this part, I cut out a lot of it because it was just nonsense and noise. So now they're in the city, and one chopper was down. So now they land, and so they're now standing on the ramp and getting off. And so now they're saying, we're okay, because she's asking what's going on, and assess your assets are undamaged. Now I'm going because I got a life to live. Basically, what's going on here is Boomerang and this other guy, I can't remember his name right now. Boomerang is trying to convince him that they need to run, they need to get out of here, right? Because he has a life to live, right? So he's kind of setting them up, actually. But anyway, they're going across streets and all this stuff is going on, and the other guy, Slipknot, I think that's his name. He decides to escape. Yeah, that's his name, Slipknot. And Flag hits the arm button, and you can't really see it right here. It blows up, so his head is gone. And she does a joke here. Now that's a killer app. And so they continue and they start arguing. He just threatened me. And then they come under fire from what I call the spirit zombies, because these are dead troops that the enchantress brought back to life to serve her, right? And so our Harlequin here is saying, "Oh, it flinched," I think, after she kicked it. Oh no, she shot it. Here's some help. You were some help, princess. But okay, right here, Boomerang is telling Diablo that he wasn't helping. He wasn't doing anything, and he says it's the better way. Trust me, right? And I think that's a skull there in the middle of the fire. So, say yeah, right, yeah. Oh, and so the brief said terrorist because now they're fighting zombies, but the brief said terrorists. If I told you, would you believe me? That's Flag talking about the reality of the situation. It says, "What are they?" And he says, "I don't know." It said, "Thing has on a $3,000 watch. Is that a person?" It was. Now it's not. And so these are a glimpse of the zombie-like people that used to be either regular humans, regular civilians, or soldiers or cops. And so now we skip to back to the building there with the incubus and enchantress, and they're showing how they are bringing some of these people that are alive and changing them into these weird looking zombie looking things. Okay. And so they go out and do her bidding and says, "Now you belong to my army." So, and you see the eyes there in this scene, they're actually blinking. Okay. So it's kind of like going back to Argus with the all seeing eyes sort of thing. So anyway, now you belong to my army, and this is what they look like. Okay. And so now they're walking in the streets, and this whole glass mural is full of symbolism. You have the Ouroboros in there. You see some demonic entities, devils or whatnot. You see dices, and you see a little bit of Mayan culture in there as well. And I forgot what happened in the scene, but she says, "The hell is wrong with you people?" And right there, we see, I think, something written in Latin. I can't remember if I kept it. Yeah, I did.
Sidus pacem para something.
Right. And so
Para.
the same article says the text written all over the display behind Harley says is pacem para bellum. That translates to "If you want peace, prepare for war." Um, that could be translated a bunch of different ways. Order out of chaos, and things like that. So maybe not, right? And so then you like this one. Will Smith goes up
Of
to
course. Yeah,
the
this is it.
mannequins, and the short mannequin reminds him of his daughter.
His 11-year-old daughter. So
His
you
11-year-old.
got the
11, yes,
yeah.
yes. And so this article says there's a subtle nod to DC's The Watchmen, which is totally occultic, if you didn't know, guys. Totally Masonic. The Watchmen, when Deadshot stands in front of a giant smiley face display, which resembles the comedian's badge minus the blood slaughter. Anything you want to say before I go ahead?
Just shows. I mean, the thing is that sequence is done right at the halfway mark of the entire film. So it's at the 60-minute mark. So he's just sending this like vitally important signal, and it's like he's sitting there in awe in front of the smiley face. It's not a small one. It's like twice his size.
Yeah.
So these are just huge tells of cult meaning, and his son, black and white, and his daughter. So there's alchemy and all this other stuff.
Yeah. So next we go to this is the Joker messaging Harley Quinn. "I am close by, be ready." So anyway, now they're inside of one of the buildings getting together as a group. "Let me fight, you die, we die." They're acting like a unit now, a family, whatever. And again, I skipped a lot of this because it wasn't worth the time even getting it. So now Deadshot is talking to El Diablo, saying, "Where you been, homie?" And Diablo says, "This ain't my fight. Where you and so then you know what? You don't stand for nothing. You ain't about nothing, right?" And he says, "Don't touch me." And he says, "What you gonna do? Don't touch me." I'm touching you. I'm touching you. Basically, this is the scene in a lot of different movies where you try to anger the person to get them to do something, right? And you want to see something? Yeah, I want to see. And so now, okay, so before I go to the next scene, what's happening here is they're about to get attacked anyway, and so they started to fight with these creatures and I think some soldiers or something that was coming up against. I'm not sure if it's totally zombies, I can't remember. But anyway, now he wants to release his powers, and boom, here comes the powers of hell, and starts burning up the people above on the second floor and on the first floor. There, I think it was the zombies, um, and so now everybody's astonished, right? And it says the Hillsiders, death, whatever, East Los Angeles. Not sure if that's a real thing or not, but I think that was his gang in the comics, right? And so he looks back like, now you see. He says, "I was just trying to get you there." Basically, it's like Tony Stark pushing the Hulk to manifest from Banner. That's what that scene was like. Okay, so now we go to where Harlequin is about to go into a memory, and so we see the vat there. Um, and
It's not 9, it's not 10, it's not 8, it's 9. So you've got 9 representation there, right?
yeah, yeah, and that's a whole other Council of Nine and all these other things we can bring up from the number nine. Says the Joker saying to her, "Would you die for me?" And she says, "Yes." That's too easy. Would you would you live for me? Yes. Careful. Do not say this oath thoughtlessly. So we see an oath, right? And we're seeing the lead up to a sacrifice. Desire becomes surrender, surrender becomes desire. This is the art, the manipulation of backwards, forwards, fusions of opposites, yin and yang, da da da, right? And a lot of the stuff with yin and yang has to do with fusion of the female and the male, quote unquote, energy or sex, a lot of sex, a lot of sex. Okay. Um, do you want this? I do. Say it. Say it. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Oh God, you're so. It's like again. I said it's a lot of sex. So obviously they're not having sex, but it's alluding to that, right? Um, and so says good, and so now she starts looking down at the vat or vats, but obviously she can't jump into all of them. So she now goes into the cross position as a sacrifice, upside down cross, falls into the vat, splash, and then now he's looking on. And so to make this fusion, he now jumps in, splashes. We don't know what's in this thing. We don't know. Okay. And so now you see the blue and the red, and this within this whole yin and yang. The red would be fire, the blue would be ice. It's the fusion of opposites. It's a occultic sacrifice that's sexual in nature, and it's a baptism as well. If you look into Hiram Abiff and some other Black Panther, it's the same sacrifice. You die to be reborn like the phoenix. It's not the same baptism of Jesus. It's not the same baptism in Christianity. This is the reversal of that. And now she's born again now, right? And they start to kiss, I think. So anyway, that's what that's about. That whole scene right there was about death and rebirth. So now, anything you want to say? All right. So we're getting closer, closer. All right, now she wakes up and I think it's yeah, dead shot in front of her, and he said, "Relax, just me." And I can't remember why he said "no, never." I can think I have the slides backwards. She says this: "You ever been in love?" And he says, "Nah, never." And then and still sleep like a kitten if you feel like basically if you believe in love. He if you feel stuff like love, he murders and sleeps like a kitten, so love really doesn't affect him. That's what he's trying to say. Okay, you don't kill as many people as I've killed, and she says he's another textbook psychopath. All right, fade to black right there. Anything before I go on?
Nope, nope, nope.
All right, so now, Joker is coming back into the picture. He's telling her to escape now. Again, I cut out a lot of this. Saying hello, baby. He's in a helicopter, a chopper, whatever. And basically, he got a way to deactivate the nanites. And now she's running towards the chopper. And she, doing silly stuff on the chopper rope or whatever that is. And now Amanda's telling to shoot that woman right now. And Deadshot says she ain't do nothing to me. Kill Harley Quinn, do it for your freedom and your kid. But he already had the assurance that his kid was going to be free, and he was going to be free, I think, right? So anyway, Amanda with her promises, just like the devil. And so what happened in between that is he aimed and he shot for her. And he's saying, now she's dead, right? Now remember, he never misses, right? And she's acting like she's dead, but she's really alive, okay? Then he says, I missed, right? Playing with Amanda, right? And there's that. So now the next scene is where she returns from being with the Joker. I can't remember she betrayed or whatever. It's not really that important, but she's back with the group. And she says, I missed you all so much. And then we jump back to Incubus and his sister, right? And he's doing all this stuff and something to have to do with her heart, right? And you see her, I believe she's becoming more powerful, but she has somehow, some way got a hold of Amanda Waller, right? With the little zombies there. And it says, with my heart returned, I can finish my weapon. Now tell me how to destroy your enemies. And she says, do your worst. Right? And tentacles start to come out of her. Technical tentacles start to come out of her. And then they switch because she did something to Amanda, right? So, okay. So now Deadshot is like, we're going to the swirling ring of trash in the sky. Because why wouldn't we? When does this end, Flag? And Flag is like, load up, we're in for a fight. 3 days ago, a non-human entity appeared in the subway station. So Waller sent me and a woman with incredible abilities that he's talking about, Enchantress or Dr. Moon. And he says, a witch. Nobody could get near this thing, but the witch could. Bombs ready. This is him talking to Enchantress. You just press the button and drop it. And it's 2 seconds on there. She touches the whatever. And needless to say, the whole thing was a bad idea. No, sir, you need a miracle. And so now we skip back to the bar scene. Um, and so he says, see, I was born with the devil's gift, right?
Right. It's a gift.
Yeah.
Gift
Yeah.
from the devil.
And that's a big thing. In a lot of these superhero movies, it's called a gift. You know, the occult power is called a gift. I kept it hidden for most of my life, but the older I got, the stronger it got. So I started using it for business, you know. The more power on the streets I got, the more firepower I got. Like that went hand in hand. You know, one was feeding the other. Ain't nobody tell me no except my own lady. You know, she used to pray for me. As far as I know, his religion was Catholicism. So I'm assuming she's a Catholic as well. Right. So she used to pray for him. She knows about his abilities and all this stuff, even when I didn't want it. God didn't give me this, clearly. Why should he take it away? Wait a minute. Let me see. Did I read that right? Yeah. God didn't give me this. So why should he take it away? And right there, you see a figurine of her in flames, the ex-wife, I mean, the dead wife. And she's saying, this is our home. You put that back where you found it. She found guns, drugs, and money. So like you put that back where you found it. I'm taking my kids to my mom. You ain't taking my kids nowhere.
So
See,
she has a cross around her neck too. So
right.
it's
Yeah.
a sacrifice thing. So she's the Christian. He's not. He has the devil's gift. So they're they're like glorifying all of these like outcasts as the heroes. The anti-heroes are the heroes.
Yes. So you ain't taking my kids nowhere. See, when I get mad, I lose control. You know, you see, and anyway, this is the end up of what happened when he got mad.
Is that an MS-13 tattoo on his back, on the back of his head? So he is MS-13.
Looks like it.
So that means that they're into human sac. They're into the most vicious.
Oh yeah.
Stuff. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
So basically, he is a spirit of vengeance. Even though he wasn't taking a vengeance on his wife, that's the spirit of vengeance, the outburst, the anger, the killing, the power, and all of that, right? So he burnt up his whole family, even though they didn't get graphic with it, but that's what happened, right? And so go from that now to step out of the shadows. I won't bite. She is speaking to, I believe, the Suicide Squad. Okay, so I skipped a lot, like I said before. Now what she's doing is using her occult telepathic powers to get into their minds to give them a vision of what could be. So Deadshot here is imagining that he was successful at killing Batman. Okay. Harlequin is imagining the idea that she had with about having a babies and a nice regular life with the Joker, kids and everything, and there goes Leto looking like a real person, and everything, right? And then now this is, I think this is Rick Flag. Um, um, Dr. Moon is saying, "Baby, baby, it's just a bad dream." And then now Diablo's back with his kids, and his wife is saying, "You miss me?" And I can't change what I did, and neither can you. I can't. And so Harley Quinn is like, he married me. And then Diablo's like, it's not real. Now, it's a weird thing. So you just have to make up your moral mind about all this stuff. They're making the devil seem like he's a good guy, right? Like, I'm not going to kill nobody. I'm sorry for what I did, right? So he's telling them that it's not real. Deadshot is like, I killed the bat. Said, nah, homie, you don't want that. What? I want that. You know, remember, this is the Will Smith's character is an antichrist figure, so he will do the opposite of what the real Christ would do, right? So, she's trying to play games with you, man. It's not real. He's right. And so, anyway, we skip all of that, and now next is they're going to walk down to try to confront somebody they don't know anything about, right? And so, Will Smith says, "Lady, you're evil." I skipped a couple things here. So now she calls on her brother and make them know how, make them bow to me. And so Incubus here comes in with his biomechanical demon manifestation suit, with the moon symbol and the eye light, the light of illumination there above his head, and it says something about now you're screwed. But now skip a little bit, and Diablo here decides to confront Incubus and touches his skull, uh, manifesting into his Aztec, the true demon that's inside of him. Some people call this an avatar. I think I explained what that was before. And Incubus here is like, huh? Right? Not expecting the next quote unquote the next false god to attack him. And so this is Diablo manifested into the demon that's inside of him, some Aztec god I have known. I don't know what the name is. And so they start fighting and all this stuff and flame on, and uh, something happens, and they tell him to Diablo drive him into the corner. So the two demons are fighting, and he takes advantage, and so he's saying now everybody down. What's happening here is the bomb underneath the building is about to get detonated, and then Incubus overpowers Diablo, and Diablo's like, now you're screwed, and then the bomb explodes, and Inanna here, whatever her name is, Enchantress, is surprised, and she's like, brother, and she's I guess crying for her brother, and this is around the time she's almost defeated, and who is this? Is this Deadshot? I think it's Deadshot. Anyway, she says, serve beneath my feet. There's just one teeny problem. The person's saying, you messed with my friends. And I think she got hit in the heart with the sword. And I think that might be Harlequin. Anyway, she reaches into her chest and removes the heart that she got back from Amanda. And now she's weakened. And they say the heart is out. We can end this. And hey, Croc. And then she throws the gun to Deadshot. I think Croc is to take the bomb, another bomb or something, into up to the Enchantress. Yeah, Croc is throwing this thing. And then Will Smith is aiming, and there's the bomb. And she's like, ah! Right? And she starts to get into his head now and says, please, please, Daddy, don't do it. The only way for us to be together is if you don't pull the trigger. Daddy, I love you. And obviously, she's not really there in front of him. That's just to show us what's going on in his head. And he's aiming the gun. Showed the bomb. Aims. And now this side, now you see love on this side because, again, the duality is switched because it's in somebody else's hand, and he loves his daughter, right? And so he shoots it, it explodes, boom, boom, boom. And so now we don't know how this partition was made. Why she's in this crevice here? We don't know how she got there. They don't show us. She's just, I guess, artistic. I guess, and she's now saying, "Let me join my brother." Basically, saying to kill her. Let me join my brother. And Katana wants to kill her. It's like, no. Says, give me that. It's the heart. You bring June back. You bring her back. She's not coming back. She's jeering him on. I'll crush this. Do you hear me? And she says, go ahead. Not a Harlequin. This is the demon talking, the enchantress. You don't have the balls. And he actually crushes the heart, and she seemingly dies or get out of there, whatever. And you can see her laying there, and Deadshot's like, "Hey, Flag," and then she comes back. Dr. Moon comes back because Enchantress is gone now, and that is where the slides have ended. That's the end of the movie.
It's an incredible movie. There's so much occultism going on there, like split personalities, mind control, the marriage of the, stuff going on, the symbolic conjoining, and it's just like alchemy, duality, all the themes are there.
Yeah.
It's off the charts.
Yeah.
In a supposedly entertaining comic book, right? Just like on the surface.
Right.
Good times, joking around.
And there are many different iterations of the Suicide Squad. So I guess they picked these individuals because they're more popular than the other ones.
There's other like anti-heroes or whatever in the Suicide Squad as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And the beginning of this whole, as far as movies go, loving the bad guys, loving the bad guy, the anti-hero, whatever, didn't just start. Wolverine, he's an anti-hero, but more on the more evil side is like I think his name was Megamind. Megamind is a movie that came out. Then we have the one with that started the whole Minions thing. What's it called? Despicable Me.
Right.
Yeah. So you see a lot of these evil, supposedly turned good characters coming up around the mid 2000s, and so you put a group of people that are evil against something else that's evil, and you pretend that these people will turn good, but they won't ever, right? So interesting dynamic, but it's a part of the whole, again, humanist, Luciferian, occultic, satanic, Freemason, and so many other titles I could put out there. It's all about reversal.
Right. It's also like making the anti-heroes the heroes too, right?
Yeah.
So these are like they do the same thing in Harry Potter. So Harry Potter has the Muggles, they're the lame people, and then there's Voldemort and all these other bad people. But then there's the guys on the inside who don't fit in, but they're the good magicians. So it's Harry and
the black magic, white magic.
Exactly. Hermione and all those things. So they're using the magic for good purposes against Voldemort or Tom Riddle or whatever.
This even goes into Christian Science, magnetism, animal magnetism versus reverse animal magnetism. Right. It's always and then it fuses at some point, but most of the time when it's fusing, black magic, white magic. Oh, I don't hurt people. I'm practicing white magic.
It's still right, exactly. It's still in there. And then the hatred of Christianity. The girl gets burned, right, with the cross.
Yeah.
The smiley face symbol, total occult symbol, is on the back of a hammer too. I have it on my notes at the 45-minute mark.
Oh yeah,
one of the hammers that uses smiley face. I didn't notice the MS-13 thing, which is really heavy. Like the MS-13 is not a joke. They are into blood drinking and satanic rituals and things like that. It's not a joke.
Right. And for people, I'm not picking on Catholics, okay? I'm not. But if you understand not just the overarching of the Roman Catholic Church, when these people conquered places for over 1,500 years, you converted to Catholicism, but you could still practice your pagan god worship, whether it was the saints or whatever. And like in Haiti, you could practice voodoo being a Catholic.
It got syncretized a lot. There's like weird things that happen. Like as long as the Catholic Church was in power, you could. That's a whole nother show. We've done Yow of God, right? So that guy
Yeah,
was
yeah.
definitely like that. Like, oh yeah, I'm a Christian Catholic, but you can also pray to Saint Germain and all these other, theosophical type things.
Oh, this is a good question. Now I don't have a
Let me read it. Let me read it. Diana says, "So is every actor in the movie sold their soul to the devil, or are some actors not part of the program? What do you think?"
No, not every actor is a part of the program. Because I don't blanket. I hate blanketing a group of people. Because that's always goes bad. But I would say that a minority of actors haven't sold their soul. Now it doesn't mean they're all Satan worshippers. A lot of them are Masons. Some of the directors, producers, a lot of them are Mason. That's why they're able to put some stuff in the movies because they know this stuff. Some of them are sold out through sex. They turn into sex workers because they had to climb their way up, and a lot of big names that you would know had to go through the system of sex magic. Because
I heard Keanu Reeves started out as a sex worker. That's the rumor. Have you heard that rumor?
No, I haven't heard it.
That he was like a male model. Like that was what that's how he got his foot in the door. Rumor, not
rumor. Yeah. I mean, some people have said stuff about what's the name? Oh my goodness.
Some of those like guys in rap too, like even the African American dudes, they start off. Some of them start off, passed around sexually. Is the way to put it.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of these guys, if you're familiar with the term, they get pegged. Okay. So it's not. It's strange to us from the outside looking in that this stuff would happen. But listen, you don't have to have a lot of fame for this to happen to you. It happens to the lower level people that are just have a little bit of fame, and they come for them.
Yeah.
Or just like the casting couch,
Oh, that's been around for 100 years, man. Yeah. It's real. It's real.
Yeah. And what the Bible says, the heart of man is desperately wicked. Who can know it? So we get a lot of the younger people that are naive and trying to make it in, whether it's Hollywood or the movie industry, or it doesn't matter what corporation, video game, it doesn't matter. There's always people willing to take advantage of you. And the people that know about sex magic, tantric yoga, red yoga, and all this stuff, they're deep into this whole pulling your supposed energy from you because they believe in the chakras and the kundalini and Aleister Crowleyism, and it's all about sucking you dry. And in some cases, you're dead.
Yeah, it's vampirism. It's a form of vampirism.
Yeah.
Somebody asks here. Zizix asks, curious, what if anything did production design make a difference from one to the next? Maybe it's like different films production design. Any thoughts on that, Chris?
Well, since most of Hollywood are not necessarily, they don't belong to God. Let's put it that way. They belong to the devil. I know that's a kind of harsh way to say it, but if you don't belong to God, you belong to somebody, right? They're steeped into whatever cultural thing they could bring to that movie, like a set design or makeup artist or costume director. I'm not saying everyone has an evil occult intent, but they draw from the sources out of these cultures, whether it's druids or you look at the Lord of the Rings, the people working on that, and Peter Jackson had his sigil magic going on, and they prayed to some deity in one of these extra DVDs. We can't assume that everybody has good intentions within the production, and they all agree with each other, because the moment you step out of line, and have a belief outside that system, you get ostracized. So that shows you there's a problem there too.
Zizix also asks here, where do we go considering how many understand the signs and symbols in Hollywood product? Yeah, it's becoming more knowledgeable, right? The public is keying into all this stuff. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, like most of the time, this stuff is going over your head. You have no clue. You enjoy the movie and you go to the next. You know, but sometimes you'll see things happen in your life. Like, say, for instance, and the skeptical probably laugh at this, but or scoff. There was a group I knew that went to my church years ago, and they were watching the movie The Ring, and I don't know why this happened. Stuff started flying off the shelf. So it's not going to affect everybody in the same way, but to be aware of some of this, you won't be aware of all of it. Because I mean, I'm sure we can go back 2 hours into this film and pick out some more stuff. But when you're aware of it and you see it, you're like, okay, well, I'm not going to let that affect me because before I used to think this way, and now I need to think another way.
I think they're being shown, but I think it's kind of like the revelation of like the occultists know, so they see it and they're like, oh wow, this is great. And then the people who are fashioning the images and things are like playing one over on the, what do they call them, the profane, right?
Yeah.
The people who don't know.
Yeah, and they have their I can't remember what the term is called for whatever reason. They have a thing where they show you what's actually going on, but if you don't pay attention, then it's on you.
Right.
I mean,
like the, what do they call that? It's predictive program or revelation of method or something like
something
that.
magic, some sort of magic. I can't remember what it's called, but in horror movies, it's obvious. Yeah, the demon comes out, or the slasher. Jason Voorhees, he's possessed. Michael Myers, he's possessed. Freddy Krueger, he's possessed. These are obvious things. But when it comes to stuff like this, people just say, "Oh, it's not really an old, God. It's whatever." But you understand, we're in the age now. Not that it totally disappeared, but Christianity made its mark in the world on a massive level. But now we're in the age where we're dealing with neo-paganism, and neo-paganism has been on the rise since like the let's see, around the 1950s, 60s, somewhere in there. And then in the 80s, it took a jump. And then in the 90s, it took another jump. And then when we hit the 2000s, it took a big leap. And then around 2015, 16, around there, it took a massive leap to where we have these pagan conferences all over the world. We have Burning Man, we have Paganicon. And like, what is going on with the world? And back in 2016, we had articles everywhere, especially in South America, where people are getting demon possessed all over the place. So we're in a neo-pagan environment right now. So no wonder you see all these dark films coming out and people saying, "I want it to be darker," and da 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 da. So that's the reality of our world.
Good point.
We hardly see fathers getting being on screen in a good way, and if they are, sometimes they're the father that's a deadbeat. The women talk,
or a buffoon, like The Simpsons or Family Guy. It's like a joke,
Yeah,
if he's there at all.
Yeah, and you know what? The corporate system right now is mostly female, right? And feminism comes from this whole dialectic of humanism, Marxism, the occult, and back in Israel, when God put a curse on a judgment on the Israelites in Jerusalem, he said, "Your women and your children are going to rule over you."
Right. That was a curse, right?
Yeah. So we're kind of living, I'm not saying God is cursing America or anything. I'm just saying we're living in this humanistic culture where the men are degraded and the women are uplifted in the position of the men. And back in Genesis 3, God said that Eve will desire her husband, but that wasn't meaning, "Oh, I love you, baby." That means she wanted his position. That's what that means. So we're seeing all of this come about through humanism. transhumanism, and it has all of the earmarks of the occult and evolution and all these things that go along with it.
Amen. Chris, great overview. 3 hours. There's a lot in this film. There really is. Like, I mean, even like you said just a second ago, we can go over it again and find more. This is kind of almost like a grim war. I would almost say like a visual grim war. Where can people find your material? We talked about it at the intro. Let's do it again. It's Don't Let Them Burn YouTube. You said you had a Telegraph X too. You're on X. And what else?
I'm on Rumble. And the Telegram channel is Don't Let Them Burn Official. Now, I share resources there. I share news articles and videos and political stuff, everything. I get my hands off technology, DNA manipulation. So there's a little hub where you can actually go back and find articles that you've never seen before. So that's where I say you can contact me more. X is good too, but I hardly post these things on X.
Gotcha. And this is your link tree, right? T.me, Don't Let Them Burn Official. Oh, that's Telegram. Sorry.
Oh, that's the Telegram.
Oh, that's the Telegram. Do you have a link tree?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Send it over to me. I'll put it in my notes when I repost that.
Right,
but also in your, I kind of mentioned it at the intro because I don't remember the specific topics that you break down your channel on YouTube. Can you give people an idea of what specific topics you have? Because I know you've broken it down into 10 or 12 different subject headings, right?
Let's see if I can bring them all up. Let's see.
Okay. Well,
we have
bring up your channel.
We have Hollywood Matrix. Which breaks down movies and Hollywood and stuff like that. I don't get into gossip or whatever, but I try to give you an understanding of what's going on. We have Paranormal Shift, where we get into some UFO stuff or paranormal things, and we try to get you to see what the Bible says about some certain subjects. We have Reign of the Tech, which we talk about DNA manipulation, microchips that could be inserted into your body, artificial intelligence, and so on. We have also Spirit Behind the Music, which is about the music industry or the things contained in your music. Yeah, that's a good one. We have Superheroes and Gods, Political Edge. We don't do too much political stuff, but we have Superheroes and Gods. We have Apocalypse News and Updates, Deception, The Road to Disclosure, which is about obviously UFOs. We have the Game Invaders. And, so it's a lot of content. I've been doing this for about 11 years. And so a lot of topics to cover and a lot of information. And if you want more on movies, I've done a slew of reviews and breakdowns, even stuff like Blade Runner, the Avengers. I did a whole slew of reviews on these things and broke them down in the capacity that I can.
Like I said, these ideas are all being presented before us. And these are also, like, some people can reject them or analyze them, like maybe Chris and I are doing, but it's also these are ways that people are being like subtly initiated, in my opinion. Like, oh, I saw that in Harry Potter. Oh, they had the chessboard. Oh, they had the owl. Oh, they had this muggles. Like, oh, it's a synonymous term with like a term I use, which is the profane.
Yeah.
So these concepts are the same. Like we're special magicians and they're all bums. Or it's a inversion of Christian thing where you're supposed to kind of be a servant. You're supposed to serve humanity. Not serve them on a plate, but like actually, not try to be an overlord, whatever. But
well, I'll insert that the devil came to kill, steal, and destroy, and he's a father of lies and a murderer from the beginning, and the whole world lies under his influence until Jesus Christ returns. That very important notes right there. You can find that in your Bible if you didn't know that. And I say, if you want to get out of the deception of this world, Jesus Christ is the only way. You see how they inverted that in the movie.
Yeah, they sure did. They sure did. And they kind of set these people up as like the anti-hero becomes the hero.
Yeah.
But you're right. That's a great way to end it. So amen to that. And thanks so much for your time. Thanks for the two-parter. Go check out Chris Taylor's Don't Let Them Burn sites. I will put his link tree in the notes, and then the audio will go out today. And thanks for everybody for the chat and being involved in the chat. And please share it too. Times are tough. Money's always helpful, but it's actually helpful if you're on social media and you share this stuff. Like, it doesn't cost you anything. And also just like hit the button to follow up on streams. Do that at Don't Let Them Burn. Go subscribe. Every little bit helps, and it helps with the algorithms and attention, and kind of helps us keep going. So I really appreciate it. Appreciate you, Chris, and thanks everybody. Have a great weekend. Anything else you want to add, Chris?
I would just say, pray about what we just talked about and seek, seek the Lord. He will open your eyes to show you that everything is true.
Amen. All right, okay, everybody. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.